Today I am going to discuss the first module of renewable energy sources. So here we need to discuss firstly the why the energy scarcity is more nowadays. So the world is facing the more energy scarcity nowadays, and several countries including India is facing very difficulties in as well as technically as well as economically. So we need to know that the 30% of population is utilizing the 70% of energy, and the 70% of population is forced to live with it is forced to live with the 30% of remaining energy. So first we need to consider the principal causes. What are the main principal causes of energy scarcity? The first thing is increasing population. How the population is most effectively causing energy scarcity nowadays. So the world population is increasing very drastically, and it is expected that about at the end of the 21st century the population will increases very drastically, and these populations are unavailingly distributed worldwide, and mainly the Africa and the other Asian countries has very much population, but when compared to the European countries, just like USA and Canada, are very less populated, but they are consuming very high much amount of energy. Whereas our India and African countries are very high populated, but consuming less amount of energy. And this is a very serious cause for energy scarcity. And the next thing is increasing energy usage or consumption. Let's see how this affects the energy scarcity. As civilization increases, mainly the man to the present technology is able to withstand based on energy usage. So energy is constantly used at home, at work, and for many period and for enjoyment also. So we need to mitigate these kind of unnecessary usage of power. So this energy provides this society electricity daily, and it motivates power to industry. So just have a brief layout of how we are excessively consuming energy in our homes for lighting and cooking and domestic appliances, like that. Unnecessary usage of lightings and unnecessary usage of what fan ACs, like that. We can where there is no need of light at the daytime, when we can use less amount of power. So in industry to manufacturing the products, and the next transport system to power cars, like that. The next thing is uneven distribution of uneven distribution of energy sources. So it is well known that very few wealthy countries have access to the actually use the largest part of the world's energy and material resources. The generation of environmental and social several area of globe can be related to the existence of uneven distribution of energy, and these may cause us very high impact on environmental and political stability. So next, take a look at that lack of technical knowledge. How this technical, the main thing for energy saving or conservation of energy, we need to have some basic knowledge about technical skills. Some more technical skills or some more technical knowledge, due to lack of those knowledge, the currently energy scarcity is increasing. So just like how means the several countries or regions have the energy in abundant, but they are not able to fulfill them due to the lack of knowledge of conversion, transmission, distribution. So, and due to the lack of knowledge, the resources are mined and processed in resource enriched countries, and then refined, used in developed countries. The price of all these things are very high cost. So we need to mitigate these using some basic technical knowledges. And the next thing is the wastage of available energy. How we are wasting most of our available energies. Just have a look at that. Before few years back, there was less amount of solar panels and windmills. But when as technology changes and technical person's skills are extended up to the marks, then we can see that wastage of available energy is minimized now. So like this, these are some main causes of energy scarcity. And what are the main solutions to these energy scarcities? So by minimizing the population growth and exploitation, harnessing the large utilization of known and unknown resources, by using this we can minimize the what we can say, the energy crisis, the main energy crisis, or can minimize it by minimizing the population growth and by utilizing the development of energy conversion techniques to convert the basic energy available from energy reservoirs to usable form. So mainly the energy conversion techniques. So we need to develop these energy conversion techniques for maximum extent from the available energy resources. So next thing is how we can use best use of energies. That is usable energy from which we should be such that it is easy to generate, control, transport and utilize. We should have an eye on the energy system that pollution free as far as possible and thereby environmentally accepted to human beings. The next thing is we need to develop for cheap and reliable energy storage systems by maintaining new energy development programs, that is which is independent to foreign impact to extent some possible. The next thing is energy management. We need to manage a very good amount of conservation of energies by maintaining and managing the energy management. And the next thing is what are the main factors which affecting the energy resources development. So from the basic examination of certain basic principles of energy availability, which studies which we studied, that reveals the mainly five factors which are the most affecting energy resource development. Those are energy or fuel substitution or scale of shift. What is this means? Energy or fuel substitution or scale of shift. Today we are there is a readily available of energy resources that in terms of large to substitute for fossil fuels, and which are requisite scales. Without doubt that solar energy is several orders of magnitude larger than any consumable global energies demands. So for practical conversations, just like to electricity using photovoltaic or large scale industries, heat are quite negligible. So we need to have a look at about the energy conservation techniques, mainly on solar by using solar energy photovoltaic systems. The next factor which may affects the energy resource development is energy density. So we know that density means the amount that required to bring energy contained in a unit. So the materials unit of material object which is termed as energy density. So when normally the density means the amount, the area which is per area, sorry, the unit, some quantity which is per unit length, per unit area is called normally density. So for energy density means the amount of energy contained in a unit of materials object, and it is termed as electrical energy density. So air dry crop residues, mostly normally agriculture waste, containing about 12 to 15 megajoules of per kg. So like that, we have to maintain the usage of amount of energy. usage of amount of energy per unit area. So we need to consider about that for energy density as well. And next factor, which is the power density. So how this power density, so what is meant by this power density is, it refers to the rate of energy production per unit of earth's area, and usually it is expressed in watts per square meter. And the thing is, what I mean, the power density, which is the rate of energy production per unit of earth's area. And the fossil fuels deposits are an extraordinarily concerned sources of high quality energy. So we need to think about this power density factor also for scarcity, in order to avoid the scarcity, energy resource development also. And the next thing is intermittency. So what is mean by this intermittency? So as demand is increases for fuel fuses, energy and electricity fluctuates daily, and the seasonally in modern civilization, the further the base load, so normally which we need to maintain at the constant in all the generating plants. For that purpose we have to maintain the basic load also. So for further this basic load, which is defined normally, which is defined as the minimum energy required to meeting the demand of the day. So while generating the energy in any power generating plants, we need to maintain some minimum balance. So we need to maintain some minimum basic loads in order to generate the power. So this minimum energy required for meeting this demand is called base load. And the easily storable high energy density fossil fuels and thermal electricity generating stations, these are the most capable of operating at high load factors to meet these things. The next thing is geographical energy distribution. So this is a very important point of view, important factor, what I mean. So the geographical energy distribution, so the uneven distribution of these fossil fuels and non-fossil fuels in the equatorial zone, these reduces the direct solar radiations. So there are very few sites with the best potential for geothermal, tidal and ocean energy conversions. The next point is, so what are the main classifications of energy resources? So based on certain factors we can classify the energy sources. So mainly the based upon the usability of energy, that is primary energy or primary usability of sources. There's a primary resources or and secondary resources. And next, based on the traditional use, it's conventional energy resources and non-conventional energy resources. And for next, based on the availability of resources, that is non-renewable energy sources and renewable energy sources, based upon the commercial applications. So there are plenty of applications where we can use the energy resources. So based upon some commercial applications, the commercial energy resource and commercial non-commercial resource. And at the end, the based on the reason where the exact energy, where the different resources of energy are available, based on that origin we can see that fossil fuel energy, the nuclear energy, hydel energy, solar energy, wind energy, that is just the based upon the reason. So fossil fuels we can get at the beneath of the earth. There's the nuclear energy, the hydel energy, hydro energy is nothing but we can generate the power using continuous flowing of water. The solar energy, the solar energy we can get from the direct from the sunlight. So these wind energy we can get from the flow of continuous blow of windmills by continuous wind flow. So these are the different energy resources. So this is the main classification which I have discussed till now. It's in continuous flow chart. So first thing is energy. Energy is divided into conventional and non-conventional. And this conventional again divided into waters and fuels. Fuels, normally fuels are coal, oil, gas, nuclear. And this non-conventional is again classified based on the availability of sources, where it is exactly available. That is directly from sun, directly from earth, or directly from sea. And this earth, again this sun, from this sun we can generate electricity by hydrogen, solar thermal, solar light, ocean thermal, wind. These wind, ocean thermal, solar light, solar thermal, and hydrogen are getting the energy directly from the sun. So these are classified under the sun. And the next thing is earth. From the earth means that is geothermal and solid waste. And by the sea, that is we know that tidal power and wave power. And next thing is what are the different advantages and disadvantages of conventional energy sources. So what are the main advantages? We know that cost is very cheap for conventional or non-renewable. Conventional is nothing but non-renewable. So these are available directly from the fossil fuels. So cost is relatively cheap, and security as a storage. These storage is easy and convenient, and by storing a certain quantity, the energy availability can be made some period of time. The convenience. So this is very convenient, and the sources are very convenient to use as technology. This for the convenience, conversions, and the usage for universally available. And what are the main disadvantages of these conventional energy sources? Main disadvantage is pollution. As we know, by burning the fossil fuels, it produces very harmful gases. These are very harmful to the environment, mainly for ozone layer and for breathing purpose. Normal, which is highly affects the health of people also. So when we use these fossil fuels, this generates the pollutants. Main pollutants are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitric oxide, sulfur oxides, and also these kind of gases produces heat, um, which increases the global temperature also. And the next thing is these pollutants degrade the environment, and this causes the health hazards and causes the very various other problems. And yeah, as I told, the global warming, the carbon dioxide is very responsible for this. And what are the other usage? What are the other non-renewable energy sources? That is usage of resources like coal, which is a petrochemical, and it is used as a raw material for chemical and pharmaceutical and paint industries. These causes the very high impact on health and as well as for the society. And what are the main advantages of non-conventional energy sources? That is non-conventional means renewable energy sources. These availability of abundantly in nature, these are available very high in very high numbers. So very abundantly these we can get in the nature. That is renewable energy sources. And these they don't cause any pollution, and this environmental friendly also. There are inexhaustible. That is there is no end to the renewable energy sources. The next is what are the main disadvantages of non-conventional energy sources? That is disadvantages of renewable energy sources. What are the main disadvantages? These are very difficult to transport such forms of energies, and the availability in uncertain. This is not equally distributed in throughout the earth. It is not the same at one point, and it is not same at the other point also. For just example, in our Ballari, the sunlight is more, but the Western Ghats, that is the Malnad region, the sun availability less. So we can use more amount of solar panels to generate electricity here, whereas we can't use same amount of solar panels to generate electricity at the Malnad region. Similarly, we can see that windmills, the uncertainty, yes, windmills, the wind is very uncertain, so we have to install these windmills at the places where the wind is abundantly available. So it depends. So as I told, these resources are uncertain, so we have to, this is some certain, it's a disadvantage. The next is it's a freely available cost. So generally the harnessing, that is to get the energy from the different sources, is very high. The next thing is we need to know the how it is distributed, how it is the natural renewable energy sources are distributed throughout the worldwide. So this total world energy consumption by sources, this slide shows the 2010 years. So the main, basically the more amount of renewable energy sources are from the biomass heat, and solar hot water, so geothermal heat, hydropower, ethanol we can get the ethanol directly from the different chemical combinations, or from the our sugar cane. And the biodiesel, this is the diesel is different than the biodiesel. We can get this biodiesel from the different trees. Jatropha. Jatropha is one kind of plant where from the seeds of Jatropha we can get the biodiesel, the biomass, the wind power. The major part which occurs, which covers, is the wind power and the solar. That is the for total it is the mainly fossil fuels covers the entire usage consumption of energy. It's of about 20%. We can get this energy from the burning fossil fuels, and from the renewable energy source, that is of just 16%. And from the nuclear, these nuclears also kind of comes under the fossil fuels, so this is about 2.7 percentage. And this is the scenario for energy sources in India. So the total capacity, normally the coal covers the major percentage of energy sources. That is, we got the power from the major part of the power we get from the coal industries. And followed by the next is hydroelectricity, that is from hydel power plants. The renewable energy sources, that is which includes everything: tidal, geothermal, biomass, solar PVs, windmills, like that. This is about 12%. As this data is about nearly 10 years back, but now it is drastically increasing. The renewable energy sources are uh, covering the major part now. They are trying to come because of the government policies. And from the natural gases, the this is of high cost, and we need technical skilled people and to generate the power from the nuclear states. The next thing is the oil. This is a very less amount. So this is how the energy sources are mainly in India. The next slide gives the scenario of how installed capacity of renewable energy sources. So what are the main installed capacity? That is a grid connected power system and off grid captive powers. Mainly in grid connected systems, the wind technology covers the maximum part, followed by small hydro, biomass, and the bagasse cogeneration. This is a cogeneration. The bagasse, which is the byproduct from the sugar cane. In sugar plants, in sugar industries, we can generate these bagasse cogeneration. The waste to energy, solar. And the next thing, off grid captive powers. So these off grid means which is not directly connected to the grid. We get the generation power from the different sources of generations, and then it is uh, connected to the grid. That is from biomass, that is from non bagases cogenerations. And wastage of energies, solar. The next thing we can continue in the next period.